Hello, everybody. I'm here to introduce another banjo to you in this Nectology series. It's reminiscent of an old Gibson. It has the RB4, I think, inlay design and that typical peghead shape. It's well made, and this has a rosewood fingerboard and ivory binding, premium Honduras mahogany. It's all gold plated, and the tone ring is separately plated with a precious metal antiqued finish, and we have an antiqued finish head that goes along with it. There's another cool little feature here. Let's see how this banjo sounds. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate the Earl Scruggs rolls, the main ones that I've learned that have served me well for 50 or more years. Let's consider the three-finger picking, and the most basic roll I can think of is probably just called a pinch pattern, where I would hit a thumb on the third or fourth string, and then pinch three strings at once, like you're pinching or picking up a golf ball or something. So that's the first pattern. Now you can also do it a little bit different and just hit that one and then use two fingers and leave out the fifth string. It's a little bit easier and less jarring. So if you want to do the full pinch, very lively, and then the half pinch. And now notice I'm doing a back and forth between the third. That's a good way to start, but it kind of sounds better to alternate the bass note. Okay? The next pattern that I usually teach is a square roll with 4 notes, and it's the inside strings and then the outside strings. So that's third, second, fifth, first. Inside, outside, inside, outside. That's how I like to remember it, is inside, outside. So you can also start that roll on the fourth string instead of the third string, and it sounds like this. And obviously, akin to the same pinch pattern we did alternating the bass, you can do the alternating bass on this roll. You're just playing twice as many notes in the same amount of time, and it sounds like this. Okay? And that's the Cripple Creek roll as well. So on the first note of that roll, you're sliding. And I only have to imply the slide by sliding from the second to the third fret. And they should be played almost the same time. The same time that you pick the second string, your slide is happening on the third string. Like that. And of course, it's good to go back and review and then do alternate back to the pinch pattern between your rolls. For example, up your own patterns. The idea. Now we're going to go on to the next roll, which is a forward roll, and the very basic roll is three notes, and starting with the thumb to the index to the middle. If you start with the index, you go to the middle. Start with the thumb, you go to the index, and so on. It's this forward momentum motion. So that would be starting on your index finger on the second string. That's your basic forward roll, and you can do it over and over. And I like to test the evenness of the roll by holding a G note on each string. So that would be at the 5th fret of the first string and the 8th fret of the second string. It's the same note as the 5th string. And if we do a forward roll on that, we want to see if we can hear even sounding notes coming through on each should be a constant volume and similar sound on each note. So that is something that I just did mostly with the forward roll, and you can do similar things and make up your own things. Forward roll is fun, and it also is fun to fit it into 4/4 time. Because we have 3 notes repeating, it's hard to divide an 8-note pattern into 3. So what we have to do is repeat a note. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So that gives us 8 notes per measure. I know everybody knows this, but at least you can hear it on the sound of a fantastic banjo. So starting on the index finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Start over again. And then take out all the seams so it's seamless. I'm sorry. Now that's conjuring up the sound of Foggy Mountain Breakdown. Of course, it's the same roll, but we start that roll at the very spot where the notes are repeating. The last 2 notes of the measure are, and then we're starting the measure on, and then continuing the roll. So that measure sounds a little bit different than starting out like, but they're really the same roll. We're just starting on the second to the last note, and we have the Foggy Mountain Breakdown roll. Now, let's add chords to that just to be thorough. So I don't care what chord it is. Or if you're very observant, you'll notice that I finished that roll with my index finger on the 3rd string instead of the 2nd string. You can always move your fingers around and use the same sequence of fingerings. That's kind of the secret. You can get a lot of variety with 3 or 4 very simple rolls. So this forward roll comes in many incarnations. You can do a forward roll on the low strings, and then you can follow that up with another set of 3 forward rolls just on the next strings up. And then we have 2 more notes to fill in the whole measure. So it sounds like this. The point is that when you're doing a forward roll, you're typically doing them in chunks that are repeated the same way each measure. If you don't do it that way, you can continue a forward roll through a series of measures, and your syncopation will change depending on where the beat falls in the music. So you can do it over and over, a 3-note roll over and over 4 time, and it will eventually work itself out over about 3 or 4 measures. It lines up again. So it's fun to practice that. Let's try a song featuring the forward reverse roll. And that's one that goes like, starts out in a forward direction, and then it reverses itself, and then it finishes with the first string there open. If you're playing a chord, it's not open. It might be. Idea. So let's play Earl's Breakdown. So, believe it or not, all of those rolls were some incarnation of something that I've already just mentioned in this 10-minute video. So, I don't think this will teach you how to play, but it will encourage you, hopefully, and give you the sound of a beautiful banjo. This banjo is available from Banjos West in Sisters, Oregon. And yeah, it's mahogany. It has ceramic bearings, a Harvest Moon head, Brazilian rosewood fingerboard, Evo fretwire, full spike on the 5th string from the A to B to C positions, including B flat, and radiused fingerboard and gold hardware. I mentioned ceramic bearings. That makes something happen to the sound that you have to hold and feel to really get the full effect of it. But I'll sign off right now with another little We'll see you next time.